Mr. Klein's Story Time.
Hello, my name is Mr. Klein. I've been an elementary school teacher for almost 30 years, and I love reading stories to young people just like you. In fact, I've got a great story that I'd like to share with you right now. So let's get started.
On the Playground, Our First Talk About Prejudice by Dr. Jillian Roberts, illustrations by Jane Heinrichs. When you are with other children at school or on the playground, you may hear unkind things being said to or about other people. Sometimes people are teased or made fun of because they're different. Seeing this behavior or hearing these words might make you feel angry, sad, or confused. It's good to question what you hear other people say and how other people act, especially when it feels hurtful. When I was on the playground today, I saw a boy getting teased and bullied. The other kids were calling him names. I felt bad for him. I understand how you feel. I feel the same way when I see mean things happening around me. The world can be a complicated and confusing place. It's hard to know what to do in these situations, even as an adult. What is it called when something like this happens? We call this kind of behavior harassment. And when someone is harassed because they are different, it's often due to a prejudice held by the person who is being mean. What is harassment? Harassment is when a person says something hurtful to someone else or threatens or intimidates them. It includes a person touching another in a way that they do not want or that makes them feel uncomfortable. What is prejudice? Prejudice is when someone decides what another person is like before getting to know them. Their opinion is based on that person's different race, religion, sex, age, or ability. Why would someone pick on a person just for being different? Picking on someone because they are different, which is acting in a way that is prejudiced, is something people learn. Children who say unkind things probably heard important adults in their lives saying similar things, and those adults may believe that being different is bad. Why do adults say mean things? Adults aren't perfect. Just like children, they make mistakes and can be mean sometimes. And beliefs about other people's differences are often passed along from generation to generation. You may have the same thoughts and feelings as your parents do, who may have the same thoughts and feelings as their parents, your grandparents. These mean or disrespectful ideas can be passed down from one generation to the next without anyone realizing it or thinking about whether these thoughts and feelings are right or wrong. Sometimes people hurt others because they are afraid of what they don't know or don't understand, and sometimes they do it because they were once hurt like that themselves. How did that boy feel when those kids were so mean to him? People who are bullied feel a lot of different emotions: anger, sadness, and fear. They could feel lonely, misunderstood, and excluded. It could be hard for them to get over those bad feelings, especially if mean things happen to them a lot. Types of prejudice include racism, believing that one race or a group of people with similar characteristics is better than another. Sexism, believing that one gender is better than another. Homophobia, feeling negativity or aversion toward people who are homosexual. Ageism, discriminating against people of a particular age group, especially the elderly. Ableism, discriminating against people who have disabilities. I felt angry too when I saw what was happening. I think it's wrong. Yes, Harassment and prejudice are wrong. It's natural to feel angry when you see people being hurtful to others. Fact. Prejudice is not only wrong, it's illegal. In Canada, Section 15 of the Charter of Rights and Freedom says that every individual is equal before and under the law and has the right to the equal protection and equal benefit of the law without discrimination, and in particular, without discrimination based on race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, sex, age, or mental or physical disability. In the U.S., the equal protection of laws in the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution is meant to guarantee that every person, regardless of age, race, religion, etc., is treated the same way by the government. Even though there are differences between us, we are all equally important. Each one of us deserves love, respect, and equal opportunity, regardless of what we look like, how we sound, or how we live our lives. Learning to understand and appreciate what makes us diverse and to see past differences that may be scary or misunderstood helps us accept one another as we are. What is diversity? Diversity simply means variety, a range of things that are different. If you have a diverse group of children, you have a group of kids made up of girls and boys with different ages, racial backgrounds, religions, and abilities. What can I do to help? What could I have done for that boy on the playground? If you see something happening on the playground, in your classroom, or somewhere else, you can go get a parent, teacher, or adult you trust and ask for help. You can approach the child who has been hurt and check in on them. Introducing yourself, if you don't know them, or just saying hi might make both of you feel better. Pink Shirt Day. When a 9th grade student at a high school in Nova Scotia, Canada, was harassed for wearing a pink shirt to school, two 12th graders at his school, David Shepard and Travis Price, decided to take a stand against bullying. They bought 50 pink shirts at a local store and distributed them among their friends, and they all wore them to school the next day. These students showed the boy who had been harassed that they supported him and showed the bullies that their actions were not okay. Today, kids and adults in almost 180 countries across the world wear pink shirts on February 28th to symbolize that they will not tolerate bullying. Take some time to look at yourself. Think about whether you have any thoughts or ideas that could be prejudiced or hurtful to others. It can be really difficult to look at ourselves like that, whether we are children or adults, but it's the first step in changing for the better. Sometimes people are really mixed up. They do not understand the difference between right and wrong. But let's be clear. It is always wrong to intentionally hurt someone, and it is always right to try and help those who are hurt. Meet Sophie Camlish. Sophie is a Paralympic athlete from Bath, UK. She inspired one of the characters drawn for this book. When Sophie was 9, she had her lower leg amputated due to a birth defect. Now she runs using a prosthetic blade, a device that attaches to her body like an artificial limb and is used for running. Sophie is a world champion in the 100-meter sprint. Sophie once wrote that her school days were not the happiest of her life. It was never one big horrible thing that I experienced. It was the tiny things that added up, and those are the sort of things that people don't see as offensive when they say them. I think it's thoughtlessness rather than nastiness. But you internalize those things, and you can end up with the idea that disability is something negative, and that's the main thing that needs to change. Disability isn't something that is bad or needs to be cured. It's just another cool part of the world, and I hope that change is happening in schools. The key to respect and acceptance is understanding. Take time to learn about the many diverse people in the world around us. Look for things we share in common, as well as differences you can admire or appreciate. There are so many. Then share what you're learning with the other kids and adults in your life. That's right, you can set a good example for grown-ups. Think carefully when you hear another person say something that sounds like it might be hurtful or based on prejudice. You don't have to believe something just because somebody told you it's true, especially if it feels wrong. Use your own learning and knowledge about the world around you to make up your mind, or ask a grown-up you trust what they think. We can practice being good role models for the people around us. We can work against prejudice by behaving in ways that are inclusive and respectful of everyone. Ask your friends about their families, their beliefs, their cultures, and traditions. If someone has differences you are curious about, ask about them. Understand, though, that sometimes it's hard to talk about differences, so be respectful if someone doesn't want to share. What is inclusivity? Inclusivity is the practice of acting in ways that include everyone and promote a sense of belonging for all people. An example of inclusivity is when schools have ramps that make it easier for people who use wheelchairs or motorized devices to get in and out of the building. What is respect? Respect is when you think about the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others and of yourself. To respect other people means that you accept their differences and understand that other people are as important as you are. To respect yourself means you believe in your own worth and in standing up for yourself. It allows you to recognize when others aren't being kind to you or are acting in a way that makes you uncomfortable. Learning about others, changing for the better, and standing up to prejudice help make the world a safer and more respectful, inclusive place for everyone. A note from Dr. Jillian Roberts, author and child psychologist. When I was growing up, it was common to see other kids being bullied on the playground because they were different. Perhaps they looked different or unique in some way, or perhaps they were born in a different country. Whatever the reason, these kids were taunted and teased. Much to my shame, I remember doing nothing. As I grew up, I came to understand that this was not the right choice. A better choice would have been to reach out to these other kids and offer them my friendship. I could have asked them to sit beside me at lunch. I could have invited them to play with my group. And with the kids who were from different countries, I could have tried to learn more about their cultures and traditions. Instead of just watching the bullying happening around me, I could have been a child who made a difference. I encourage all readers of this book to make better choices than I did. You have the power to make your corner of the world a better place. The end.
Thank you for coming to Storytime. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I read new stories every week, so be sure to hit the subscribe button if you'd like to hear another one. Hope to see you again soon.